Who is at one of our TNA business briefing in Sandton, and today's topic is celebrating our human treasures by asserting our African identity. She's joined by the Minister of Arts and Culture, Nathi Mthethwa, playwright and chairperson of the Living Legends Legacy Project, Napo Mashiane, who is a poet, and Thabo Rametsi, who is an actor. Well, it's over to you, Palesa. Good morning.
Well, thank you very much, Simpu. A very good morning to you, and of course, a very good morning to everyone watching from home and everyone who's here. We're coming to you live from the Hilton Hotel here in Sandton and Johannesburg. Like Simpu rightfully said, we're actually wrapping up Heritage Month. This morning, we're celebrating Heritage Month, of course, asserting our African identity, but we'll be looking more into this year's theme, celebrating our human treasures by asserting our African identity. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, but you can become part of the conversation at Morning Live SABC. That's our Twitter handle, #BizBrief. Will be able to go through your tweets and questions that you have to the Minister or any other member of the panel here this morning. Well, let me introduce you to the member of the panel. We have the Minister of Arts and Culture, Nathi Mthethwa. Minister, sawubona. Ngiyaphila njani, Minister? It's Heritage Month. That's why I'm actually saying hello in Zulu. Thank you so much indeed. We also have the chairperson of the Living Legends. He is a producer, someone very well known in this industry. Ubab, welcome, Somi. Somi, good morning to you and welcome. Ngiyaphila njani wena?
Ngiphila kahle.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We have Napo Mashiane. She is a poet, a playwright, a director. Ausi untotso hle kaofela dumela ra wamhela Morning Live.
Dumela beso kae?
Ngiyaphila okay?
Kiteng.
Thank you so much indeed. And we have Thabo Rametsi. He is an actor. Thabo, how do I say hello? Dumela sawubona njani?
Ungazisho zonke
Thatha zonke. Well, good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Morning to you too.
Thank you so much indeed for your time. Well, these are the members of the panel. If you have any questions to them, please do send your questions. Our Twitter handle at Morning Live SABC, and we're using #BizBrief. And a very good morning and warm welcome to the members of the audience, of course, who are gathered here. Will also be able to take their questions throughout the show. Minister, obviously protocol. Let me just observe protocol this morning and start with you. Talk to us about this year's theme, celebrating our human treasures by asserting our African identity.
Yes, Palesa, perhaps before I respond to the question, let me say something which is always said, but we don't take note of, that the whole world understand who we are. They appreciate us, but we appreciate ourselves less as South Africans. Many of our legends are respected the world over, and even the up-and-coming ones. Just this month, BRICS member countries couldn't see any other best actor but a South African who won that award, the Best Actor Award of the 5 BRICS member countries. BRICS member countries would be Brazil, China, South Africa, Russia, and India. And this happened in New Delhi. They recognize us, our story of Solomon Mahlangu in a movie, Kalushi. And this actor is from that, and he was out. Let me show you what.
And that is our very own acting, telling our very own history.
Our very own, and that's Thabo Rametsi. This is what the BRICS member countries.
Oh, that's wonderful! A round of applause. Thank you. Oh, that's beautiful. And Minister, as you're presenting the award, that is exactly what your department is striving for. Telling our very own stories.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm saying that our theme speaks to exactly what we should be all about. We should celebrate our human treasures, and our human treasures would be our legends, would be our young legends like Thabo and others, in all the performing arts, all the genres of arts, because we are rich as South Africa. It's just that this is we look down upon ourselves. The moment we understand that celebrating these treasures, for us, what we had in mind was the personalities, the legends, as I said, but also the broader heritage, African heritage, the indigenous knowledge system, that which is passed from generation to generation. And this is what we had in mind this month, and say it's important to assert our African identity. You have seen what has happened even in Pretoria High School, Girls High, for instance, where our kids are told not to express themselves in their own mother tongue, mother language. And it's totally against the spirit of the heritage we are building. Because remember, we are a nascent democracy. We are still building a heritage of a nation. And part of that is what the Constitution refers to as unity in diversity. What it says is that, yes, you should be proud of who you are. Msutu woman, Mxhosa men, and so on. But that should not mean to dominate others, because if you do that, then you are leaning towards tribalism. Yeah. And tribalism is as toxic as racism and all other intolerances. So we should appreciate who we are and appreciate other South Africans, but never have the mentality of dominating others. So this is what we are about this year, this month. And the highlight has been with a lot of programs which our living legends have been conducting in provinces. Mm-hmm. And that is what we used to do, passing on the knowledge from older generations to the young. But also we went to Eastern Cape to respect one of the forebears of our African heritage, and that is Chief Gyal in the Eastern Cape, who had a vision long time ago that Africans should always be leading in the world. And he gave that land to build Forte, where Forte is today. And how much his vision is touching all of us, the entire continent. And indeed, this has been the excellent center for producing leadership.
All right, Minister, I'm just going to ask you to hold a thought right there. We're having problems with your microphone. I'm going to move over to Ubabumsomi. You and I earlier had a conversation just before we came on air, and there's a concern really about telling our own stories here in South Africa. What is the problem, Datemso?
I think the problem about us, as the minister has also indicated, is that we think less of ourselves. Those of us who have produced and directed plays overseas, we are highly regarded over there. I've done more performances overseas than in South Africa. In fact, what happens is that even in Brazil, they're doing a play Umabat, Poland, they have approached me. So we are afraid, or maybe we want to be like other people and not tell our own stories. We don't teach our children about our stories. The system of education doesn't touch anything about our history. We seem to be a nation that is lost. In fact, if we have to go back, we have to look at what has happened. And we talk about violence. We talk about violence that went through our generation, and our children picked up on that. We are a nation that has not cleansed itself. It doesn't matter what monies you talk about, as long as your soul is empty, there's nothing that you can do.
So we're still wounded and bruised.
Still wounded, and that is why, with the living legends, it's so important to then say, how do we share the way forward? And I'm glad the minister brought us together about the living legends.
But just before we get into the living legends, I want us to dwell a little bit more on that one. But we quickly need to take a commercial break. Morning Live continues after this. Don't go away.